The pitch black match was, I wish I could have been there to stop the pitch when it was pitched. Let's put it that way. So after all of this, what we got was a match where they turned a black light on and had the guys wearing the fluorescent color tights and or in Wyatt's case makeup and green confetti, and it was a head shop match is what they should have called it. They turned black light on and everything glowing fluorescent Kermit green.
Yeah, it was the pitch black match, not the neon light match, which is what it turned into.
Yeah. And I felt like I fast-forwarded 15 minutes of Bray Wyatt's entrance to get him into the ring, and he had Chris Colt's Alice Cooper makeup on from 1976. And then they started this match, and I swear to God, right as I had written down fluorescent ropes and tights, this match should be sponsored by Spencer's Gifts, and Michael Cole said that. So now, God damn it, I guess my material is rotten because Michael Cole is coming up with the same shit on the fly. Spencer's Gifts was the only place back in the fucking late 70s and early 80s that you could actually purchase a vibrator without a fucking being able to be old enough to go into a goddamn porn store. I'll have you know.
Were you buying a lot of vibrators?
Well, you know, they didn't make them to last back in those days. There weren't a lot of varieties, and they were fairly cheaply made in China. So a lot of times, especially under certain elements of abuse, the base that would turn it on would get cracked or loosened, and it wouldn't make contact. You'd have to pitch the thing.
So how many vibrators you think you've been through?
What, from Spencer's Gifts? Not more than a dozen, 15. So then they have this match. And Bray Wyatt, he's doing plodding, flat-footed shit. And L.A. Knight's doing the best he can to bump and or sell for the guy. They go to the floor. Wyatt clears off the announce desk. And then L.A. Knight tackled him through the desk, and green glowing confetti went everywhere. Why was there confetti there? On the desk. They were just holding buckets of green fluorescent confetti for a certain occasion.
There was going to be a tribute to the early days of Randy Savage's promos on this show, but it didn't. They ruined the confetti. It was going to happen.
Okay, well, Bray Wyatt then throws a toolbox into the ring, and normally now it's a garbage match, but I would have loved if he'd ever used it. But he didn't. I didn't see him take anything out of the toolbox. He sold almost nothing. He didn't take any bumps. None of his work stands out. And then L.A. Knight gets a glowing fluorescent kendo stick and hits him 2 or 3 times with it. And Wyatt responds to that by just grabbing him and hitting his finish. 1, 2, 3. What the? And that was it. That was the match. And then, while L.A. Knight is selling, Bray Wyatt goes in the corner and puts another horror movie mask on, and then turns around and starts menacing. You can't call it chasing because there was not a lot of running, just menacing L.A. Knight. And L.A. Knight keeps backing up and out of the ring and down the aisle. At the same time, he's hitting this goofy fucker with this kendo stick, and Bray Wyatt is not selling any of them. He just keeps progressing forward, and finally, they get to the back of the arena, and Bray Wyatt puts the mandible claw on L.A. Knight and fucking puts him out and rolls him off the stage or whatever they're on. You can't see. He's on a crash pad, which they're trying not to shoot because it's a fucking crash pad. And I'm thinking, my God, I've just thought they've might as well, why not piss in his mouth while he's down there? They beat him flat, and then the guy sells nothing when he's hitting him over the head with a stick, and then he puts the claw on him and fucking shoves him off into something. I'm thinking, what the fuck? And then there's Captain Howdy on the top of whatever the set dressing was, 20 feet in the air, and he does an elbow drop off this thing out of camera view, supposedly onto L.A. Knight, but obviously
nowhere near L.A. Knight.
Not only nowhere near him, but onto a crash pad that actually goes poof when they land on it, and you see the guy's feet kind of fly up like he's bounced on the bouncy castle. He's in the fucking, he's at a kid's birthday party in the bouncy castle. And then pyro shoots off when he lands the elbow, and then at the top of the thing that he's jumped off of, the puppets, the pig and the ocelot and the duck-billed platypus, whatever they are, appear. I never thought I'd say this. L.A. Knight was better off as Max Dupree. What?
He certainly could have used the help of Mansois and Soiree or whatever their names were.
Well, and not to mention Minaj. I'd have called Minaj in here for help on that. When are the fans going to turn on this? I mean, some people already are. We hear it constantly, but I'm talking about the rank and file WWE fan. When are they going to say, wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense. It's fucking goofy. The matches suck. The booking sucks. The stipulations suck. And this guy sucks.
I can't believe the amount of money they pay this guy and they let him get away with all this shit. This is the first match he's had in months. Bad segment after bad segment on SmackDown. LA Knight has done as well as you can considering the limitations that are in abundance here. But this guy, this is why I told you early on when you said, let's see what he'll do when he came back. I said, no, we know what he'll do. He can't work. There's always something. I saw a match where there were red lights. I saw a match where there were flames. I saw a match where there were worms in the ring. It's always something like that. And then he kills the person he's working with, so they need forever to recover if they even get a chance. I would like to play you if you don't mind, because I know you didn't stay up. I couldn't go to bed after this. I know you didn't stay up and watch the Royal Rumble press conference that WWE did. Very, very different than the AEW media scrums, I'll tell you that.
Anybody get in a fight?
No fights. Wrestlers are in and out in a couple of minutes, and for the most part, no hard-hitting questions. I guess no one in that room wants to stand up and be the one who has WWE fans. Because it can't be just media. I think it has to be media and some fans. So I think if you ask the wrong thing, some of them may boo you or something. But let's hear what Bray Wyatt had to say about his performance at the Royal Rumble.
Well, I feel incredibly satisfied now, all the buildup and all the, I think most people don't understand all the time and the pressure that goes into these kind of things, all the thought.
What?
So now it's like a really wonderful feeling, but it's, it's been a wild week. It's been a really wild week, but the payoff is now.
Let me stop it there before we go to the next question.
The time and the thought, and it was like no thought was put in this. This was a shitty match with bad lighting and a rotten finish and a goofy angle, and it didn't last very long, and nobody looked good.
They should have had Naomi return. Remember, she used to wear the outfit that would glow in the dark? Oh. Wouldn't that have been amazing if all of a sudden she danced to the ring in the middle of this? Uncle Howdy wouldn't have even known what to do. But let's hear more from Bray Wyatt.
Back row.
They're going to the back row.
Hi, Bray.
They're going to the back.
From comicbook.com. One of the things, too, tonight, it was a lot going on, but there was also some messages sent Alexa Bliss's way, and that always seems to kind of interact with your world. What can you tell us about that bridge that you're building there?
Let me just stop right there, because again, this is a press conference after a wrestling event. I'm not expecting Woodward and Bernstein here, but even if you ask that question, you think that's a good question to ask, what do you think he's going to say? Oh, well, here's the booking. Here's what's going to happen.
Yeah, here's exactly what we're thinking.
Well, I think that me and Alexa are just kind of connected forever, no matter what. It's just kind of the way it's gone. And where it leads, I don't know. No one knows. But I feel like there will be something at some point, and it will be memorable. I'm sure of that.
There'll be something at some point.
Right here, second row, you, sir.
They're going to the second row.
Elliot Greenberg from Wrestling Inc. in the UK. How do you think people will regard this very unique time in wrestling history?
That's an interesting question, man. I think there's some people that like new concepts and people that take risks and things, and then there's people that don't just because they don't. You know, it's a sport to some and it's a show to others. But I think the beautiful thing about wrestling, this industry, is that there's something for everyone. And I've always kind of prided myself on the fact that, you know, I'd be willing to take risks and do things that no one's ever done, because if, in my opinion, if you're not willing to do that, then what are you doing here? You know, it's about kind of leaving a legacy.
What are you doing there?
And I would do pretty much anything, especially if no one's ever done it before, because I know that people would notice it. And it's.
Well, if you want to know which wrestler is going to be fucking a cow on TV because it's never been done, it'll be Bray Wyatt.
No, actually, I've seen that before. It was a German video with subtitles. But here's an idea. Why don't he go out in the parking lot and squat down and give birth to a 27-pound flaming porcupine? Nobody's ever done that either.
So again, I wanted to play you some of this audio because when he first came back, you and I talked about it. You were a little optimistic. There were rumors that we had talked about, 2 years ago, that it was mostly Vince, that he was kind of forced to do a lot of Vince's things that ruined whatever the original intent was for the Bray Wyatt series of characters. When you hear him actually explain, I don't know if philosophy is the right word, but his protocol, his where his mind is at going into these things, what do you think? Because, I mean, this is really the divide. This is not, the House of Black isn't as egregious as this, but the whole, we call it spooky wrestling, whatever it is, the idea that wrestling should be a canvas beyond a sport, that should also have elements of other TV shows that, for whatever reason, these people think need to be on wrestling.
Yes, and that's the problem, and that's why this guy's a drizzling shits, because he thinks that. and a lot of these other fucking assholes think that too. They want to be video game characters. They want to be horror movie stars. They want to get booked in C-level horror movies, remakes of shit that was actually good that some fucking moron's going to take and ruin for everybody else that liked that kind of thing. These people are ruining wrestling for us. They don't want to be wrestlers. If you don't want to be a wrestler, you don't want to do the shit that wrestlers have done before, do something else. Don't get in fucking wrestling. That's my advice or wish or fervent hope, that whether you want to be in fucking, what it was, that Final Fantasy 14 with Seraphim and Serabim, or you want to be a goddamn, Rob Zombie horror movie remake reject, don't clutter up the fucking wrestling business. There's reasons why people have not done most of the things that Bray Wyatt has done before, because they're fucking stupid and they're the shits as applied to wrestling. So I'm painting this guy with the same brush as Twinkle Toes and some of these performance artists and the pizza maker and Pockets and whoever the fuck else, that they, okay, we can't do this right. We can't make this believable, and nobody really is going to care about us as personalities, as wrestlers. So we'll do something so over the top goofy that the people that like to laugh at this shit anyway will enjoy it. Well, fuck all of you.
You know what? He's a little worse, because you could work with the Kenny Omega or the Young Bucks and not be completely destroyed coming out of it. We've heard rumors or whispers in the past about maybe Randy Orton or Rollins or different people who had a difficult time recovering from working with Bray Wyatt. If you were a top guy there, would you want to work with him? Forget about the gimmicks and everything else. No one comes out of working with him any stronger. He kills everyone.
Yes, no, you look like a blithering dipshit when you get out of the ring with this guy. He kills everybody he comes in contact with. So I hope the merchandise he sells is worth it to him. But if I was booked against him, I'd call in fucking sick.